Chris Sims and Mike Florio talking about the Saints preseason game, talking about Derek Carr's drive and how good he looked on it. I'll tell you this right now, if Derek Carr has as many touchdowns this year as Chris Sims has buttons on that shirt, my God, there is some serious hold going on the chest and upper neck. Chris, my goodness. Let's get right into the video.
Carr played yesterday in the early game against the Kansas City Chiefs. He played one drive, threw a touchdown pass. Here's Carr after the game on how it felt to be wearing a Saints uniform.
For them putting on, black and gold, for the first time, it was probably a little weird because when I put that uniform on and I went in the mirror to, fit, I was like, Jake walked up, he's like, that looks weird. He said, I was like, I know, bro, I've been in the same place for 9 years. But
I said this yesterday, I was hoping he would say it there. I feel like Derek Carr, and it's only been one drive, it is what it is. I feel like Derek Carr has been the same his whole career. I mean, he doesn't feel like a free agent. He doesn't feel like a new player. He feels like our guy. He feels like the guy. Could I eat these words in a month? Could I eat these words in a couple of months here? Potentially. But to me, from what I've seen, from what I've heard, he's legit, and he's a legitimate franchise quarterback. It's kind of wild because we've obviously covered Derek Carr a lot since he signed with the Saints, and even before that. In almost every single video, and shout out to the comment section, because as you know, I reply to almost every comment. I read the comments. In almost every one of those videos, there are Raiders fans who are saying, y'all got a good one. And that very rarely happens because, as we've covered, Derek Carr didn't have a lot of success with the Raiders. He's not a guy who the Raiders fans should love, but they do. I have yet to hear a Raider fan in the comments say, y'all are cooked, this guy sucks, he's garbage. None of that. And I can tell why. I mean, in every interview, he's done great. On the field, he looks the part, he plays the part. I've been super impressed with Derek Carr. I've been super impressed this entire time, and definitely after that first game.
It may look weird, but it felt right.
There you go. There he is. I should have let it go 2 more seconds. Damn it. I
told DA that earlier this week. I just feel refreshed. I feel rejuvenated. And to put that uniform on and, come out and be a Saint, it felt really good.
I want to hit on that. I like that he said that. I feel refreshed. I feel rejuvenated. I have a sneaky feeling the locker room feels like that. I have a sneaky feeling Michael Thomas feels like that. I have a sneaky feeling. Now listen, look, I'm not saying he's Drew Brees. I'm not saying that's what's happening here. But anytime a team gets a player, whether it's Matthew Stafford or Tom Brady or whoever, if that player, Aaron Rodgers, if that player comes in, even before the games, the team can feel like a sense of, oh, this is different. We can win. Oh, we're for real. When you don't have that, sometimes teams cannot believe. Sometimes these players aren't dumb. They know we don't have the quarterback to win the Super Bowl. They know we don't have the roster to win the Super Bowl. Like, do you think that, and no offense to Davis Mills in Houston, but do you think last year the Texans roster in the locker room before the season was feeling the same way that the Buccaneers locker room felt? Not that the Buccaneers did anything crazy, but I guarantee you when they look around, they see Tom Brady, or the Rams saw Matt Stafford, or the Jets now see Aaron Rodgers. I guarantee you that locker room feels like we can do this. If we've got that guy, we can do this. And I guarantee you there's some locker rooms that look around and they see Davis Mills, or they see Ryan Tannehill, or they see whoever it may be, and they're looking at him like, we don't have a chance. We don't have that. We don't have a chance. The Saints are now one of those teams, I think, where the locker room and the roster looks at Derek Carr, and right now they believe we can win. And a lot of the times, that's worth the signing alone. The team believing we can do this. The team believing we have all the pieces. Believing it's our year. I'm telling you right now, I can see the Superdome from outside of my window. people in this city believe. Is it a false belief? Is it a false confidence? Time will tell. People in this city believe in this quarterback, and they believe in this roster. They truly believe, me included, that this is a division champion team. This is a playoff team. This is a 10-win minimum team. This is a NFC conference championship level team.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes. I know that Carr's kind of like a Kirk Cousins, where you know what he's going to do and you know what he's not going to do. I really feel that way. And they're in a very wide open division. They could be very successful this year.
He is kind of like Kirk Cousins. And Kirk Cousins, just at the lowest level, like the base level, Kirk Cousins can be a really, really good quarterback. Kirk Cousins' problems come with, the time of games, and he's a bit of a quirky guy. He doesn't like primetime games. He doesn't like being out of his comfort zone. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He just hasn't had that success to get him over the hump. But if you're telling me that Derek Carr is Kirk Cousins, okay, sure. What did Kirk Cousins win last year? 12 games, 13 games? Now, were the Vikings a bit fugazi? Yes, they were. But still, they won 12, 13 games. If Derek Carr is that, I'll take that. I will take that. If Kirk Cousins got hot, if Kirk Cousins got some momentum, he has the talent to go through a playoff and get to a Super Bowl. I don't think he will, but it could happen. Is he any worse than Nick Foles, Joe Flacco, any of these guys who have done it? No. No, he's not. So I don't have a problem with that comparison.
Let's see what happens if and when they get to the playoffs. That's where Derek Carr has a chance, Chris, to change the narrative. A la Rich Gannon, the former Raiders quarterback. We've talked about that recently. That's one guy that found a way in his 30s to reach a higher level of performance. That's what we wonder whether we're going to get from Derek Carr this year in New Orleans or Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Carr looked really comfortable. Carr looked like a machine, right? They've done right by trying to get the best out of Derek Carr. Bringing John Gruden in there, it's the same offense. So he looked decisive, knew where he wanted to go with the ball. He was sharp. That was all good. And what I'll say for Derek Carr, too, is, the Saints, I know you're like me, too, here. I'm really interested to see what they are. We know.
Yeah, I think Carr needed this. I think Carr needed a fresh start. I think he's an emotional guy. I think he is still kind of hurt by how Las Vegas ended up and how Oakland ended up. But I think he does need that new start. And I think a city like New Orleans that can show him so much love if he wins will rejuvenate his career. He's 32 years old. I'm not expecting him to be Patrick Mahomes, but he can have a magical couple of years. And he can be like Rich Gannon. And he can be a guy who gets to a Super Bowl or leads a high-powered offense. For sure. I think Carr can do that. And if he bottles all that up, chip on your shoulder, rejuvenated, a talented roster, a lot of weapons, a coach you trust, John Gruden sneaking around the locker room, Pete Carmichael wandering around outside the stadium doing nothing. If all that fits, I really think Derek Carr could have a career year this year or a career couple of years in New Orleans.
Oh, the D is legit. We know that. The O-line's damn good. And I'm not sure this isn't the best supporting cast Derek Carr's had around him in his career.
It probably
on the offensive
is.
Side of the ball when you really think about it, right, Mike? I mean, I don't know.
Total package-wise, it probably is. The Raiders' defenses with Carr were terrible. I don't think he had above a 25th ranked defense his entire time with the Raiders. Total package, defense, weapons, all of that, this is probably the best team Carr has been a part of. This is probably the best full unit that he's ever led.
No, am I crazy to say that? That O-line, Michael Thomas, Olave, Rashid Shaheed, we saw Juwan Johnson twice on that highlights, the tight end over the middle. I mean, they got some ballers here. Kamara's going to be gone for a few weeks, okay, but they'll
Whatever.
make do.
Got Jamal
That's where,
Williams.
You know, they're one of these teams that's flying under the radar that I know you and I both agree could be one of those teams that pops up when we're going, damn, the Saints are good halfway through the year.
Yeah.
Somebody in the NFC South is going to win that division and host a playoff game. They were packed as tightly together as they could be last year, with one team 8-9 and the other three 7-10. Somebody, who knows? Is somebody going to run away with it, or is it just going to be the same thing? Sink to the bottom and somebody ends up being floating on top. I don't know. But the Saints have an equal chance, in my mind, going into the season as the Falcons, Panthers, and Buccaneers do to win that division. But a lot of it depends upon Carr. And look, Carr can get you. Carr can get you to the playoffs. He can win the division for you. He can help make that difference.
I mean, you know, I got to check myself because of the bias, but I really think the Saints could be one of those teams where you blink and they're 8-2. And then all of a sudden it's like, man, are the Saints about to be the 2 seed in the NFC with the roster, with the weapons, with the schedule, with the division, all of that stuff? If Carr is good and the coaching staff can figure it out, this could be one of those teams where they're 6-0, 7-0 going into some of these bigger games. And the bigger games are still like Detroit and Jacksonville. I mean, the Saints, this could all blow up in my face, but if I'm right, if I'm right, there's no reason the Saints can't put it all together and be a very high-powered offense with a very good defense and a very weak conference and have 11, 12 wins before you know it.
Between 8-9 Bucks and 7-10 Saints, he can make you 9-8, 10-7, 11-6. But is he going to win games for you when it's time to go to the postseason? That's going to be the real question. If
Yeah, I mean, obviously the playoffs is a whole different beast, for sure.
the Saints make it to the playoffs, and who knows? Before you know it, we'll season hasn't started yet, but we know what happens, Chris. Once you strap into the roller coaster ride, before you know it, we'll know.
Oh,
we'll know
yeah, we know. Once we go, you'll be making fun of Derek Carr's accent at some point, and you'll be I love you not with Kirk Cousins
Not him.
and all the craziness will start.
Yeah.
I think Carr has a higher ceiling than Cousins. I'll say that. I think ceiling-wise, Carr he can reach a height that Cousins probably can't.
I don't make fun of his accent. I just point out that for certain players like he and Aaron Rodgers, there's this Southern accent that just kind of pops up in unexpected moments.
Well,
and
he is Southern. He does have an excuse. He is from Texas.
Right. But he talks most of the time as if he's not from Texas. And then the twang just kind of comes up out of nowhere.
Well, that'll be enjoyed down here. I like that Carr. You know, I have spoken my piece with Derek Carr a lot, and I got a feeling as these preseason games stack up and these good performances stack up, we're going to reach a fever pitch on this channel where we're predicting the Saints to be undefeated. So we're going to see what they do this weekend, but I do like that Carr is saying a lot of these things like, I'm feeling rejuvenated. The jersey feels right. The team feels right. The locker room feels right. Because I guarantee you, if he thinks it feels right now, that first week in the Dome, when there's 65,000 people, he's not going to know what hit him. It's going to be very different playing in the Superdome than playing in Vegas, where a majority of the stadium is rooting for the away team. So let me know in the comments below what you think, guys. Do you think Derek Carr is rejuvenated? Do you think this is a good step for him? Do you think we could see a Rich Gannon-type resurgence late in his career? Will Carr lead us to the Super Bowl or to the playoffs or to the NFC Conference Championship game? Or do you think that I have this all wrong and the Saints are in for a rude awakening? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.